The life and sad ending of the legend Nat King Cole.
But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories.
Nathaniel Adams Coles, March 17, 1919 to February 15, 1965, known professionally as Nat King Cole, was an American singer, jazz pianist, and actor. He recorded over 100 songs that became hits on the pop charts. His trio was the model for small jazz ensembles that followed. Cole also acted in films and on television and performed on Broadway. He was the first African-American man to host an American television series. He was the father of singer-songwriter Natalie Cole. Nathaniel Adams Coles was born in Montgomery, Alabama, on March 17, 1919. He had three brothers: Eddie, 1910 to 1970, Ike, 1927 to 2001, and Freddie, 1931 to 2020, and a half-sister, Joyce Coles. Each of the Cole brothers pursued careers in music. When Nat King Cole was 4 years old, the family moved to Chicago, Illinois, where his father, Edward Coles, became a Baptist minister. Cole learned to play the organ from his mother, Perlina Coles, the church organist. His first performance was "Yes, We Have No Bananas" at the age of 4. He began formal lessons at 12, learning jazz, gospel, and classical music on piano, from Johann Sebastian Bach to Sergei Rachmaninoff. As a youth, he joined the News Delivery Boys Bud Billiken Club band for the Chicago Defender. The Cole family moved to the Bronzeville neighborhood of Chicago, where he attended Wendell Phillips Academy High School, the school Sam Cooke attended a few years later. He participated in Walter Diet's music program at DuSable High School. He would sneak out of the house to visit clubs, sitting outside to hear Louis Armstrong, Earl Hines, and Jimmy No One. When he was 15, Cole dropped out of high school to pursue a music career. After his brother Eddie, a bassist, came home from touring with Noble Sissle, they formed a sextet and recorded 2 singles for Decca in 1936 as Eddie Cole's Swingsters. They performed in a revival of the musical Shuffle Along. Nat Cole went on tour with the musical. In 1937, he married Nadine Robinson, who was a member of the cast. After the show ended in Los Angeles, Cole and Nadine settled there while he looked for work. He led a big band, then found work playing piano in nightclubs. When a club owner asked him to form a band, he hired bassist Wesley Prince and guitarist Oscar Moore. They called themselves the King Cole Swingsters after the nursery rhyme in which Old King Cole was a merry old soul. They changed their name to the King Cole Trio before making radio transcriptions and recording for small labels. Cole recorded Sweet Lorraine in 1940, and it became his first hit. According to legend, his career as a vocalist started when a drunken bar patron demanded that he sing the song. Cole said that this fabricated story sounded good, so he didn't argue with it. In fact, there was a customer one night who demanded that he sing, but because it was a song Cole didn't know, he sang Sweet Lorraine instead. As people heard Cole's vocal talent, they requested more vocal songs, and he obliged. In 1941, the trio recorded That Ain't Right for Decca, followed the next year by All For You for Excelsior. They also recorded I'm Lost, a song written by Otis Renee, the owner of Excelsior. Cole appeared in the first Jazz at the Philharmonic concerts in 1944. He was credited on Mercury as Shorty Nadine, a derivative of his wife's name, because he had an exclusive contract with Capitol since signing with the label the year before. He recorded with Illinois Jacquet and Lester Young. In 1946, the trio broadcast King Cole Trio Time, a 15-minute radio program. This was the first radio program to be sponsored by a black musician. Between 1946 and 1948, the trio recorded radio transcriptions for Capitol Records transcription service. They also performed on the radio programs Swing Soiree, Old Gold, the Chesterfield Supper Club, Kraft Music Hall, and the Orson Welles Almanac. Cole began recording and performing pop-oriented material in which he was often accompanied by a string orchestra. His stature as a popular star was cemented by hits such as All For You, 1943, The Christmas Song, 1947, Get Your Kicks On, Route 66, I Love You, For Sentimental Reasons, 1946, There. I've Said It Again, 1947, Nature Boy, 1948, Frosty the Snowman, Mona Lisa, number 1 song of 1950, Orange Colored Sky, 1950, Too Young, number 1 song of 1951. On June 7, 1953, Cole performed for the famed 9th Cavalcade of Jazz concert held at Wrigley Field in Chicago, which was produced by Leon Heflin Sr. Also featured that day were Roy Brown and his orchestra, Shorty Rogers, Earl Bostic, Don Tosti and his Mexican Jasmine, and Louis Armstrong and his All-Stars with Velma Middleton. On November 5, 1956, the Nat King Cole Show debuted on NBC. The variety program was one of the first hosted by an African American. The program started at a length of 15 minutes but was increased to a half hour in July 1957. Rheingold Beer was a regional sponsor, but a national sponsor was never found. The show was in trouble financially despite efforts by NBC, Harry Belafonte, Tony Bennett, Ella Fitzgerald, Eartha Kitt, Frankie Lane, Peggy Lee, and Mel Torme. Cole decided to end the program. The last episode aired on December 17, 1957. Commenting on the lack of sponsorship, Cole said shortly after its demise, "Madison Avenue is afraid of the dark." Throughout the 1950s, Cole continued to record hits that sold millions throughout the world, such as "Smile," "Pretend," "A Blossom Fell," and "If I May." His pop hits were collaborations with Nelson Riddle, Gordon Jenkins, and Ralph Carmichael. Riddle arranged several of Cole's 1950s albums, including Nat King Cole Sings for Two in Love, 1953, his first 10-inch LP. In 1955, Darling, Je vous aime beaucoup, reached number 7 on the Billboard chart. Love Is the Thing went to number 1 in April 1957, remained his only number 1 album. In 1959, he received a Grammy Award for Best Performance by a Top 40 Inches artist for Midnight Flyer. In 1958, Cole went to Havana, Cuba, to record Cole Español, an album sung entirely in Spanish. It was so popular in Latin America and the US that it was followed by 2 more Spanish-language albums, A Mis Amigos, 1959, and More Cole Español, 1962. After the change in musical tastes, Cole's ballads appealed little to young listeners, despite a successful attempt at rock and roll with Send For Me, which peaked at number 6 on the pop chart. Like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Tony Bennett, he found that the pop chart had been taken over by youth-oriented acts. In 1960, Cole's longtime collaborator Nelson Riddle left Capitol to join Reprise Records, which was established by Frank Sinatra. Riddle and Cole recorded one final hit album, Wild Is Love, with lyrics by Ray Rash and Dottie Wayne. Cole later retooled the concept album into an off-Broadway show, I'm With You. Nevertheless, Cole recorded several hit singles during the 1960s, including Let There Be Love with George Shearing in 1961, the country-flavored hit Ramblin' Rose in August 1962, reaching number 2 on the pop chart, Dear Lonely Hearts, number 13, That Sunday, That Summer, number 12, and Those Lazy Hazy Crazy Days of Summer, 20, his final top 10 hit, reaching number 6 on the pop chart. He performed in many short films, sitcoms, and television shows and played W.C. Handy in the film St. Louis Blues, 1958. He also appeared in the Nat King Cole Story, China Gate, and The Blue Gardenia, 1953. In January 1964, Cole made one of his final television appearances, on the Jack Benny program. He was introduced as the best friend a song ever had, and sang, When I Fall in Love. Cat Ballou, 1965, his final film, was released several months after his death. Cole had one of his last major hits in 1963, 2 years before his death, with Those Lazy Hazy Crazy Days of Summer, which reached number 6 on the pop chart. Unforgettable was made famous again in 1991 by Cole's daughter Natalie when modern recording technology was used to reunite father and daughter in a duet. The duet version rose to the top of the pop charts, almost 40 years after its original popularity. Nat's final studio album was titled L.o.v.e. The album peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Albums chart in the spring of 1965. Around the time Cole launched his singing career, he entered into Freemasonry. He was raised in January 1944 in the Thomas Waller Lodge No. 49 in California. The lodge was named after fellow Prince Hall Mason and jazz musician Fats Waller. He joined the Scottish Rite Freemasonry, becoming Master Mason. Cole was an avid baseball fan, particularly of Hank Aaron. In 1968, Nelson Riddle related an incident from some years earlier and told of music studio engineers, searching for a source of noise, finding Cole listening to a game on a transistor radio. Cole met his first wife, Nadine Robinson, while they were on tour for the all-black Broadway musical Shuffle Along. He was 18 when they married. She was the reason he moved to Los Angeles and formed the Nat King Cole Trio. This marriage ended in divorce in 1948. On March 28, 1948, Easter Sunday, 6 days after his divorce became final, Cole married the singer Maria Hawkins. The Coles were married in Harlem's Abyssinian Baptist Church by Adam Clayton Powell Jr. They had 5 children. Maria supported him during his final illness and stayed with him until his death. In an interview, she emphasized his musical legacy and the class he exhibited despite his imperfections. In September 1964, Cole began to lose weight and he experienced back problems. He collapsed with pain after performing at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas. In December, he was working in San Francisco when he was finally persuaded by friends to seek medical help. A malignant tumor in an advanced state of growth on his left lung was observed on a chest X-ray. Cole, who had been a heavy cigarette smoker, had lung cancer and was expected to have only months to live. Against his doctor's wishes, Cole carried on his work and made his final recordings between December 1 and 3 in San Francisco, with an orchestra conducted by Ralph Carmichael. The music was released on the album l.o.v.e. shortly before his death. His daughter noted later that he did this to assure the welfare of his family. Cole entered St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica on December 7, and cobalt therapy was started on December 10. Frank Sinatra performed in Cole's place at the grand opening of the new Dorothy Chandler Pavilion of the Los Angeles Music Center on December 12. Cole's condition gradually worsened, but he was released from the hospital over the New Year's period. At home, Cole was able to see the hundreds of thousands of cards and letters that had been sent after news of his illness was made public. Cole returned to the hospital in early January. He also sent $5,000, $41,722 United States dollars in 2020 dollars, to actress and singer Gunilla Hutton, with whom he had been romantically involved since early 1964. Hutton later telephoned Maria and implored her to divorce him. Maria confronted her husband, and Cole finally broke off the relationship with Hutton. Cole's illness reconciled him with his wife, and he vowed that if he recovered he would go on television to urge people to stop smoking. On January 25, Cole's entire left lung was surgically removed. His father died of heart problems on February 1. Throughout Cole's illness, his publicists promoted the idea that he would soon be well and working, despite the private knowledge of his terminal condition. Billboard magazine reported that Nat King Cole has successfully come through a serious operation and the future looks bright for the master to resume his career again. On Valentine's Day, Cole and his wife briefly left St. John's to drive by the sea. He died at the hospital early in the morning of February 15, 1965.